Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the broadcast. Now we do it twice in a month. We do sessions where a group of dedicated immigration consultants, such as us today, all members of CAPIC, that take their time to inform you, our members, about the latest COVID-19 updates and any other top-related immigration news. In this time, we've seen the changes, we've seen so much happen, and keeping up with it is difficult. So we try to provide this platform for our members to ensure that we are up to date. So it's meant to be informative, light, friendly, and as always, we encourage you to do more in-depth research to verify any detailed information in accordance with a program or some announcement, and to connect with a licensed regulated immigration consultant from this platform that will help guide or assist you through any process that you may have. So for clients that are watching this, we are doing our best to keep on top of this. But again, we encourage that you get in touch with a licensed immigration consultant or anybody that's licensed to practice immigration law. And my name is Neera Agnihotri, and I'm from Delta, BC. And with me is Marjorie Newman, who's based in Edmonton, Alberta. Hi, Marjorie, and how are you? And how are things in Edmonton today?
Good, good. Thanks, Neera. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. So it's starting to get cold here in Edmonton. Actually, it's +5 today, and it looks like we will have our first taste of snow this Friday.
Ooh,
Yeah, for
like
which
the
I'm
West
not,
Coast
I'm not
sometimes.
looking forward for it at all. Yes.
Oh man. Okay, so how about why don't you get us started on some of the newest updates, Marjorie?
Yes, for sure. Thanks, Neera. So we just had a new express entry draw with a CRS score of 471. A huge number have been invited, with 4,500 candidates receiving the invitation. And the last time I can recall IRCC had such a huge draw was in February 2020. The last draw was 2 weeks ago. So a fun fact is that the total number of invitations in 2020 is now nearly 83,000. It is expected the target set by our IRCC for the total number of draws will be met and surpassed, actually. So the next level's announcement, meaning the targets for number of immigrants for next year, will be done by the end of October. Also today, we've had a BCPNP draw of 417 persons under express entry and skills immigration stream. Candidates were invited under the skilled worker and international graduate subcategories. So, Neera, it looks like things are moving in some places. Why don't you update our audience on the lottery that is going on right now?
I think everybody's hit the jackpot. This is news we've been waiting for since the beginning of this year. When will the parents and grandparents open? When will it open? So finally, we have a program in place. We know that it is a lottery system. So if you're lucky, you may get the draw. It's like bingo, number 17, you're up. So everybody is calling and flocking and asking what are the requirements, can we apply, because it hasn't been around for so long and we've received no information. So the parent-grandparent expression of interest program is now open, and it's open from October 13th. So it opened yesterday until November 3rd. It's going to allow eligible Canadians and permanent residents over the age of 18 to sponsor their parents or grandparents for immigration to Canada. The target for the PGP is 10,000 invitations to apply for 2020. You have to submit an online sponsorship form, an expression of interest, the current period, in order to be considered for the invitation to reply. After that form is submitted, then we wait and see if the application will be randomly drawn. So if you submitted it yesterday, you submit it today, or if you submit it on November 3rd, there's no guarantee, or there's nothing in this that will say this day will have higher chances. Again, you're thrown into this ball of whatever, and you're selected randomly. So if you're drawn, an ITA will be sent out. The fees and forms must be submitted within 60 days of the invitation to apply. An interesting piece of information to note is 2 siblings can each invite the parents. If both applicants are randomly drawn, then one must be declined. So if 2 siblings have submitted an expression of interest, both of them get selected, it's a lucky family, one should decline the invitation. Siblings cannot combine their income to sponsor. Remember that. The sponsors must meet the eligible income criteria for the previous 3 years, including this year, so 2020, 2019, and 2018. Immigration Canada understands that the sponsors will not yet have their 2020 notice of assessment, but they will have to submit it once it is available. And again, they've also reduced the income requirement to 2020. Yes, because of COVID and the situation that we're in. So Marjorie, why don't you do some of the new updates for travelers that were recently announced?
Yes, thank you, Neera. So, sure, this is a really big one and has taken place because of heavy lobbying by many stranded partners. So, details have been released on Canada's definition of extended family members. This is quite something new for me. Never heard of such thing, right? Extended family members, but it's good. Yes. So, requirements for compassionate travelers to get exempt and how to get limited release from quarantine. So as of October 8, extended family members can now cross the border to Canada, provided they are staying for at least 15 days and meet existing eligibility and admissibility requirements. So if you are an extended family member, you do not need a non-optional, non-discretionary reason to travel to Canada. Now, what's the definition of extended family member? IRCC's definition of extended family member changes depending on how the foreign traveler is related to the Canadian or to the spouse, to the common law partner, or to the dating partner. So if the person is directly connected to the Canadian citizen or permanent resident, they can be exempt if they, for example, have been in an exclusive dating relationship for at least 1 year and have spent time in the physical presence of that person at some point during the relationship, or a non-dependent child, meaning, an adult child, a grandchild, dependent child of a non-dependent adult child, a sibling, half sibling, or even step sibling, or the grandparent. Okay, Neera, would you like to continue this?
Yes. So again, if they're related to the Canadian spouse or the common law partner, they're also considered the extended family if they are an adult child, they're a grandchild, so dependent child of a non-dependent adult child, they're a sibling, half sibling, or a step sibling, or a grandparent. And if they are related to the Canadian eligible dating partner, they're extended family if they are, again, a dependent child, an adult child, a grandchild that's dependent child of a non-dependent adult child. Exempted extended family members will also need a signed declaration by the Canadian citizen or permanent residents that confirms the relationship. They will also need written authorization by IRCC. Marjorie, do you want to take over here?
Yes, thank you. So, wow, Neera, this is really huge. So these extended family members must follow a 6-step process for a travel exemption. So we encourage everyone to check out the details on the IRCC website or connect with a licensed consultant for some assistance, a lot of whom are registered at myconsultant.ca. There's also a provision now to come for a compassionate reason, but requirements must be met and permission sought first. An example could be to attend a funeral or to provide critical care for a loved one. Again, seek out all the right information and don't just show up at the border without first getting appropriate permission. Anything else, Neera?
Okay, so some other news. There's been some immigration forms that have been updated, like the IMM 5476. It's been a while since we've seen an updation to that. Every time I go to sign it, I'm like, oh gosh, where do I sign? It's not up to regular person anymore. The IMM 5475, the 5406, the 5405, the statutory declaration form for common law. So always our recommendation is prior to submitting a file, prior to doing anything, go back to their website if you don't have a program in place to make sure you are submitting with that application the most updated form. The consequences of not submitting updated forms is the return of a file, and that could be dire to your client.
Yeah.
So the Application Center in Manila, Philippines is going to reopen for 19th. Yay, there you go. While the VAC in Cebu City, Philippines has reopened on September 23rd, 2020. But you must book an online appointment. Services will be limited to biometrics collection and submissions of original passports. So with all of this happening, we're finally seeing that there's some sort of flow and some sort of consistency coming back into immigration. That the direness of the last 6 months and not knowing, we still don't know timeframes, but we can see that immigration is working towards reopening programs, bringing stability to Immigration Canada, issuing visas, allowing family members to come visit because family reunification is most important. And things are finally, maybe there's a light at the end of this COVID tunnel, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So that's
I've also
it.
been
Sorry?
I've also been worried because I haven't been receiving AORs for my sponsorship application outside Canada. And then this has been going on for applications submitted after March 18, like April, May, and then just luckily I just received one today. So
Oh my God, you received one? So I have some sort of hope because I've received no AORs for any of the sponsorship applications inside Canada or outside.
Oh.
It's been, oh my gosh, I don't know. We've received not the AORs, but when we call in, we have been given file numbers. Right? But the outside Canada, no. So if you've received one today,
I just received one today.
So that light is a little bit brighter and brighter.
Yeah, it's actually not an AOR, but it's actually biometrics request.
Okay,
so it's a BIL. Yeah, so
perfect.
I'm good.
That's enough.
Yeah,
you know, they have it.
For sponsorship application inside Canada.
And I know the clients are getting very impatient.
It's also weird sending me BIL, request for biometrics, but then no formal AORs.
No, that's what I'm saying. There is no formal AORs being issued, but there is movement on files in which whether you call or you receive the biometric request or an updation on some sort, but AORs are not coming in. And again, it's very difficult to explain it to our clients to say, well, wait a minute, like we still haven't heard anything. They've been patient now for 6 to 8 months where they're like, what do you mean you haven't heard anything? Is our file even in process? What's going on? So they have some sort of fear in them. And I think the government has heard, even through our stakeholder meetings, the government's heard that how important it is. And I'm sure they themselves are aware that some sort of reassurance is required and they're working towards that. So let's see what happens.
Okay.
But for me, that's it for now, Marjorie. So I think there's a lot to digest, and I think, and to think about more options for clients coming into Canada, remaining inside of Canada, applying for their permanent residency. COVID-19's taken a toll on us. It's hit us hard from our personal to our professional lives, but I hope that this information has been useful for our audience here today.
Yes, Neera, thank you very much. Thank you for your time today. I know you're a super busy person.
We are.
Yes, you're trying to keep up, so thank you. Keep well, keep safe, and stay tuned for our next broadcast. As always, be part of the myconsultant.ca platform and be part of the discussion.
And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marjorie.
Thank you.
And a pleasure. Always is. Thank you.